Tribe up. Great day. Welcome to the House of Cons on Blackjack. Salute.
Boom shakalaka.
Salute to each and everybody in the house, including the Tethers.
Tether.
Salute to all the real noggers,
Tether.
of course. Salute to all the real noggers. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know where you at. Do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, and share the video if you're a real nogger. If you're a Tether, go ahead and hit that dislike. We don't care. Another good show lined up. Where my people at? I ain't got no likes. I got 5 people watching and I ain't got but 1 like. Y'all tripping. Y'all treat me like a stepchild. Y'all treat me like a Tether, man. Don't treat me like no Tether. If you watching the show and you like the content, go on and hit that like. Salute. Trying to treat me like an immigrant. You know, motherfucking immigrant. Y'all in here acting like immigrants. Hit the like, you fucking immigrant. About to get into this show, man. Title of the show: Christopher Columbus discovers the Indies. Salute. Christopher Columbus discovers the Indies. Yep, you read it right. You read the title right. Christopher Columbus discovers the Indies. Not the East Indies, not the West Indies. Christopher Columbus discovers the Indies. That's the title of the show. And we're looking at the thumbnail from a third eye point of view. We got one general in the house. You know, we got Bronze Flat. We got the Serpent God King Morpheus in the house. Salute. Salute to everybody in the house.
Boom shakalaka.
Columbus discovers the Indies, and we looking at the thumbnail. We looking at the Indian. What Columbus referred to as the Indian in the Indies. Because Columbus never, today they're telling you Columbus discovered America. Columbus never said that. Columbus said he discovered it. Columbus never said he was seeking America. Columbus never said any of that. Columbus said he was seeking the Indies. Hey, Dark Enlightenment in the house, salute. So we're going to talk about it because they always giving Christopher Columbus credit for discovering America. But was there even a place called America during the time of Christopher Columbus? Was there even a place called America? Hey, Bronze Flat Power God in the house, salute. They always credit him, and Christopher Columbus never even uttered the word America. Christopher Columbus never wrote the word America, never said the word America. Christopher Columbus said he was seeking the Indies, and he went back to Spain saying he had discovered the Indies. Salute, and we're going to talk about it. A lot of confusion going on. Because we know from history, we know for a fact that in 1492, when Columbus came to the Indies, there was no place on earth called India on their side of the world. There was no place called India in 1492 in the known world. The place was called Hindustan. And other than that, we got to ask ourselves, how long have since they give Columbus credit for finding America and they said he was heading to India, and they say he accidentally found America, and then they say India is Hindustan? Well, that begs to ask the question, how long have Europeans known about Hindustan? Salute. How long has Europe known about Hindustan? Because it's over there on the same side of town. You mean to tell me Europeans ain't know about Hindustan to 1492? I don't believe that. I don't believe Europeans ain't know nothing about Hindustan to 14. I believe Europeans knew about Hindustan well before 1492 because they had already been to Hindustan. Columbus didn't need to discover Hindustan. They already been to Hindustan. But we gotta use our common sense. You can't just listen to what people telling you in public education and stuff and you just regurgitating it. No, you gotta break it down. You gotta think for yourself. They said Columbus was looking for Hindustan. But why would he be looking for Hindustan when they already been to Hindustan? I understand if Europeans had never been to Hindustan and Columbus was like, you know what? There's a place called Hindustan and I'm trying to find it. I could buy that. But I don't buy it because I know for a fact, because I got plenty of sense and I do my own research. I know Europeans, especially the merchants, like merchant seamen or conquistadors. Yes, European merchants have been traveling to Hindustan, look, in quotation, India. No. You got it right the first time. Europeans had been traveling to Hindustan before Columbus, primarily through land routes. So they already knew where Hindustan was at. Europeans been to Hindustan before Columbus was born. So you gotta think. They telling you Columbus was looking for Hindustan, talking about he got lost. How he got lost when they been to where it was at? And they say, now listen, let's read what the AI tell us. The Silk Road and other land routes. Europeans had long engaged in trade with Asia, utilizing vast networks of land routes such as the Silk Road. They said they had a whole bunch of routes to Hindustan, which connected China and the Far East with the Middle East and Europe. Established trade. These routes facilitated trade in valuable goods like spices and silks. And Europeans like Marco Polo in the 13th century, the 1200s, had successfully reached Asia through these routes. They say obstacles to land trades. However, by the 15th century, the 1400s, overland trade became more difficult and expensive due to factors such as the Ottoman Turks conquering Byzantine, high taxes imposed by Muslim nations on European travelers, motivation for a sea route. These challenges spurred European powers, particularly Portugal, to seek a direct sea route to Asia. Okay, so you want to say it was too rough going through the land, you wanted the sea route. But if you wanted the sea route, you wouldn't go west to look for east if you were going to Hindustan. That's like, you ain't about to drive north. You ain't about to drive north to get to the south side either, right? So they gonna give us some hijack right here. They gonna try to explain, cause they know. Let me. Y'all gotta understand this. They know these public lying educators. They know Europeans had been going to Hindustan. They know they had several routes through land. They know they've been trading with it hundreds of years before Columbus. But they gotta explain. They gotta say, well, if we gonna tell them Columbus was going to Hindustan, we got to explain why he went by boat, because they got plenty of land routes. We done made up this lie. We got to explain why he was going in the water. See what I'm saying? They got to cover a lie with another lie. Once you start lying, you got to pile lies on top of lies. Once you pop, you cannot stop. You going to just get away with one lie. You got to put about 100 lies behind that lie to try to make that lie make sense. So you going to lie and say he was looking for Hindustan. Somebody going to say, somebody like Blackjack from back in the day, Blackjack from the 1200s, gonna say, well, if he going to Hindustan, why he ain't just take the land routes? And they gonna say, well, he ain't take all them different land routes that we got that Marco Polo then was taking because it was dangerous by Columbus time. They gonna pile on another lie. They gonna say he had to go by sea because of danger. You gonna say, okay, he had to go by sea because it's danger. Okay, that make a little bit of sense. Then somebody like Blackjack from back in the day gonna say, well, why the hell he went west if he was looking for east? See what I'm saying? Now they gotta make up another lie. You see, once you pop, you cannot stop. Once you lie, you cannot stop lying. Soon as somebody asks one question, if he was going to Hindustan, why ain't he go by land? Why did he go the way Marco Polo went? Why would he go to an unknown route with the risks of getting lost or death when he could just simply go where previous people had been going for hundreds of years? Because they covering their tracks with lies, Salute. Columbus was never going to Hindustan. Columbus was never thinking about Hindustan in 1492. Columbus was not thinking about no Hindustan in 1492. In 1492, the land that is now known as India was called Hindustan, not India. Columbus was not looking for Hindustan. Columbus was looking for the Indies. He was successful, Salute. He was successful. They say the term India as a name for the country wasn't in common use at that time. The term India wasn't in common use. There was no such thing as India in Europe or in Asia. There was no such thing during the time of Columbus as India in that part of the world. It was Hindustan. And Columbus never said he was going to Hindustan. As a matter of fact, Columbus never said he was going to Hindustan, and Columbus never said he was going to India either. Columbus said he was going to the Indies. He didn't say he was going to the East Indies. He didn't say he was going to the West Indies. Columbus said he was going to the Indies. Columbus never said he was going to America. Columbus said he was looking for and he had found the Indies. Now, he wrote it in his own words. Well, I guess it's his own words. Maybe with a little hijack mixed in. Because they claim the letter was lost. And it's the only surviving version. Letter of Columbus. On his first voyage to America. It was no such thing as America in 1492 according to Columbus. He was looking for the Indies. And didn't y'all tell us America was, and we know this is a lie, but didn't you tell us that America was named after Amerigo Vespucci? Who that wasn't even his real name, and he didn't come to the 1500s. If America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, who came well after Columbus in the 1500s, how would Columbus be looking for America? How would Columbus write a letter about his first voyage to America when there was no such thing in 1492, Salute? According to their history. According to them, America didn't come along to Alberto Vespucci or so-called Amerigo Vespucci after Columbus. So the title is false already. So we know you hijacked the letter. The letter should have been the letter of Christopher Columbus on his first voyage to the Indies, if it was correct. Written in 1492 to the treasurer of Aragon, Louis de Saint Angel, who had provided Castile Taino Indians his settlement La Navidad on the north coast of present-day Haiti. The other Haitians are Tainos. On his first voyage to America, I thought he was looking for the Indies. There was no such thing as America in 1492 according to them. Or was it? So we know they already altered this. We know some of it might be what his own words, but we know just from the title, this has been altered. This has been remixed. This has been hijacked. Written in 1493 to the treasurer of Aragon, Louis de Saint Angel, who had provided Castile Taino Indians his settlement La Navidad in the north coast of present-day Haiti. Sir, as I know you will be rejoiced at the glorious success. He didn't say he said I know you, according to them. Sir, as I know you will be rejoiced at the glorious success. Wait a minute. I thought he was supposed to be seeking Hindustan. I thought he accidentally found so-called America, which is the Indies. Then why would he be writing back saying the glorious success if he didn't find what he was looking for? It would be a failure. If he was seeking Hindustan and he didn't reach Hindustan, the mission would be a failure. But he argues it was a success that he reached the Indies, not Hindustan. He said that our Lord has given me in my voyage. I write this to tell you how in 33 days I sailed to the Indies. He sailed to the Indies in 33 days? I thought it was just up here talking about the first voyage to America. Something to see, some inconsistency here. He said he successfully sailed to the Indies. In his own words, if they tell us it's true. He never said America. He never said Hindustan. He never said the East Indies. He never said the West Indies. He said the Indies. He said, sir, as I know you will be rejoiced. He said, sir, I know you will be happy to hear this. At the glorious success, at the success that the Most High had to give him. He said that the Most High has given me in my voyage. I write to tell you how in 33 days I sailed to the Indies. See, we got to stop listening to people telling us what happened in history, and we got to look at it for our motherfucking self, man. One line at a time. He said, with the fleet that the illustrious king and queen, our sovereigns, gave me, where I discovered. What you discovered? America? No, the Indies, a great many islands inhabited by numberless people. And of all I have taken possession for their highness by proclamation and display of the royal standard without opposition. To the first island I discovered, I gave the name of San Salvador in commemoration of his divine majesty, who has wonderfully granted all this. The Indians called it Wanaham. The second I named the island of Santa Maria de Concepcion. The third Fernandina. The fourth Isabella. The fifth Joanna. And thus to each one I gave a new name. When I came to Joanna, I followed the coast of that isle toward the west and found it so extensive that I thought it might be the mainland, the province of Cathay. And look at the hijack. In parentheses, they put China. You mean to tell me Columbus wrote China in parentheses? No. Columbus ain't write China in parentheses. They're trying to lead you to believe in something. They're trying to believe you to believe in Cathay is in China. When it's right here. And Columbus said he successfully found the province of Cathay. And as I found, no towns nor villages on the seacoast except a few small settlements where it was possible to speak to the people. Because they fled at once, I continued to the said route, thinking I could not fail to see some great cities or towns, and finding at the end of many leagues that nothing new appeared, and that the coast led northward. Contrary to my wish, because the winter had already set in, I decided to make for the south. And as the wind also was against my proceeding, I determined not to wait there longer and turned back to a certain harbor, whence I sent 2 men to find out whether there was any king or large city. They explored for 3 days and found countless small communities and peoples without number, but with no kind of government. So they returned. I heard from other Indians I had already taken that this land was an island, and thus followed the eastern coast for 107 leagues until I came to the end of it. From that point I saw another isle to the eastward at 18 leagues distance, to which I gave the name of Hispaniola. I went thither and followed its northern coast to the east, as I had done in Havana. 178 leagues eastward, as in Joanna, this island, like all the others, is most extensive. It has many ports along the seacoast, excelling any in Christendom. It had more seaports than the Christians, and many fine, large, flowing rivers. The land there is elevated with many mountains and peaks, incomparably higher than in the center isle. They are most beautiful, of 1,000 varied forms, accessible and full of trees of endless varieties, so high that they seem to touch the sky. and I have been told that they never lose their foliage. I saw them as green and lovely as trees are in Spain in the month of May. Some of them were covered with blossoms, some with fruit, and some in other conditions according to their kind. The nightingale and other small birds of 1,000 kinds were singing in the month of November when I was there. There was a palm tree of 6 or 8 varieties, the graceful peculiarities of each one of them being worthy of admiration, as are the other trees, fruits, and grasses. There are wonderful pine woods and very extensive ranges of meadowland. There is honey, and there are many kinds of birds, and a great variety of fruits. Inland there are numerous mines of metals and innumerable people. Hispaniola is a marvel. Its hills and mountains, fine plains, and open country are rich and fertile for planting and for pasturage, and for building towns and villages. The seaports there are incredibly fine, as also the magnificent rivers, most of which bear gold. The trees, fruits, and grasses differ widely from those in Joanna. There are many spices and vast mines of golds and other metals on this island. They have no iron, nor steel, nor weapons, nor are they fit for them, because although they are well-made men of commanding stature, they appear extraordinarily timid. The only arms or weapons they have are sticks of cane, cut when in seed with a sharpened stick at the end, and they are afraid to use these. Often I have sent 2 or 3 men ashore to some town to converse with them, and the natives came out in great numbers, and as soon as they saw our men arrive, fled without a moment's delay, although I protected them from all injury. At every point where I landed and succeeded in talking to them, I gave them some of everything I had, clothes and many other things, without receiving anything in return. But they are hopelessly timid people. It is true that since they have gained more confidence and are losing this fear, they are so unsuspicious and so generous with what they possess, and no one who had not seen it would believe it. They never refuse anything that I asked for. They even offered it themselves, and show so much love that they would give their very hearts, whether it be anything of great or small value, with any trifle of whatever kind. They are satisfied. I forbade worthless things being given to them, such as bits of broken bowls, pieces of glass, and old straps, although they were as much pleased to get them as if they were the finest jewels in the world. One sailor was found to have got for a leather strap gold of the weight of 2.5 castellanos, and others for even more worthless things much more, while for a new blancas they would give all they had, were it 2 or 3 castellanos of pure gold, or an arroba or 2 of spun cotton. Even bits of the broken hoops of wine casks they accept, and gave in return what they had like fools. And it's, see, it's like your hard-earned money, man. You go buy these Jordans and all of these fake-ass name brands from China, and you give all you got in return like fools. And it seemed wrong to me. I forbade it, and gave 1,000 good and pretty things that I had to win their love, and to induce them to become Christians, and to love and serve their highness in the whole Castilian nation, and help to get for us things they have in abundance, which are necessary to us. They have no religion nor idolatry, except that they all believe power and goodness to be in heaven. They firmly believe that I with my ships and men came from heaven, and with this idea I have been received everywhere, since they lost fear of me. They are, however, far from being ignorant. They are most ingenious men, and navigate these seas in a wonderful way and describe everything well. But they never before saw people wearing clothes nor vessels like ours. Directly I reached the Indies, in the first isle I discovered. You mean you reached America? No. Directly I reached the Indies, in the first isle You mean the East Indies? No. You mean the West Indies? No. You mean Hindustan? No. Directly I reached the Indies, in the first isle I discovered. I took by force some of the natives. I kidnapped them and enslaved them. That from them I started the whole transatlantic slave trade at this point. that from them we might gain some information of what there was in these parts. And so it was that we immediately understood each other, either by words or signs. They are still with me and still believe that I came from heaven. They were the first to declare this wherever I went. And the others ran from house to house and to towns crying out, "Come, come, and see the men from heaven." Then all, both men and women, as soon as they were reassured about us, came, both small and great, all bringing something to eat and to drink, which they presented with marvelous kindness. In these isles there are a great many canoes, something like rowing boats of all sizes, and most of them are larger than an 18-oared galley. They are not so broad, so they are made of a single plank, but a galley could not keep up with them in rowing, because they go with incredible speed. And with these they row about among all these islands, which are innumerable, and carry on their commerce. I have seen some of these canoes with 70 and 80 men in them, and each had an oar. In all the islands I observed little difference in the appearance of the people. In all the islands I observed little difference. They were all nigglets. In the appearance of the people, or in the habits and language, except that they understand each other, which is remarkable. Therefore, I hope that, see, all these different islands, they understood each other. Therefore, I hope that their highness will decide upon the conversion of these people to our holy faith, to which they seem much inclined. I have already stated how I sailed 107 leagues along the seacoast of Joanna or Cuba in a straight line from west to east. I can therefore assert that this island is larger than England and Scotland together, since beyond these 107 leagues there remain at the west point 2 provinces where I did not go, one of which they call Avon, the home of men with tails. These provinces are computed to be 50 or 60 leagues in length, as far as can be gathered from the Indians with me, who are acquainted with all these islands. This other Hispaniola is larger in circumference than all of Spain, from Catalonia to Fuenterrabia in Biscay, since upon one of its 4 sides I sailed 180 leagues from west to east, 108 leagues from west to east. This is worth having and must on no account be given up. I have taken, look, they say, boy, they saw Anaga land, they say this must be taken, and it must not be given up by any means necessary. Aaron Jordan in the house, salute. Nelson Charles in the house, salute. They say this is worth having and must on no account be given up. I have taken possession of all these islands for their highness. I took these niggas' land, and all may be more extensive than I know or can say. And I hold them for their highness, who can command them as absolutely as the kingdom of Castile. In Hispaniola, in the most convenient place, most accessible for the gold mines and all commerce, with the mainland on this side or with that of the great Khan on the other, with which there would be great trade and profit. They say on the other side the great Khan exists, and there'll be great trade and profit with him. They say I have taken possession of a large town, which I have named the city of Navidad. I began fortifications there, which should be completed by this time, and I have left in it men enough to hold it with arms, artillery, and provisions for more than a year, and a boat with a master seaman skilled in the arts necessary to make others. And he left a boat with a master seaman skilled in the art of making them. He's skilled in the art necessary of making boats, huh? What else he doing? Carving figureheads and tobacco Indians? He said, which should be completed by this time, and I have left in it men enough to hold it with arms, artillery, and provisions for more than a year, and a boat with a master seaman skilled in the arts necessary to make others. I am so friendly with the king of that country that he was proud to call me his brother. See, you niggas want to call everybody black. You want to call everybody bro, huh? Everybody bros, huh? Everybody your bro, huh? You want to call everybody bro. You do that today. You niggas still doing that shit. Everybody your fucking brother, huh? Except your real brother. Man, this shit be pissing me off sometimes, man. I ain't gonna lie. This shit he said the damn Khan called him his brother and held me as such, and he was the fucking snake in the grass. Even should he change his mind and wish to quarrel with my men, neither he nor his subjects know what arms are, nor wear clothes. Nor wear clothes, huh? See. It don't line up with the pretendians. He said they ain't got no weapons and they don't wear clothes. Don't line up with the pretendians. It don't line up with the pretendians whatsoever. It don't line up with them. He's saying they don't wear clothes, which I don't even believe is true. It still don't line up with the pretenders. When he said Columbus said they don't, he said they almost naked. He said, even should the king change his mind and wish to quarrel with my men, neither he nor his subjects know what arms are, nor do they wear clothes, as I have said. See? Who you think he talking about, man? Who you think he talking about, really? He said they don't wear clothes. He said they ain't got no weapons. He said they don't wear clothes. He said they just about naked. It's way down here. Is that far down? I just want to go to it just for the comparison to what he's saying. It don't matter which one you look at. It's lining up with everything he's saying. He said they don't got on no clothes. It's from the map. He said they can't fight back. They ain't got no weapon. He said they ain't even got on no clothes. He said they are the most timid people in the world, so that only the men remaining there could destroy the whole region and run no risk if they know how to behave themselves properly. In all these islands, the men seem to be satisfied with one wife, except they allow as many as 20 to their chief or king. The women appear to me to work harder than the men, and so far as I can hear, they have nothing of their own. For I think I perceive that what one had, others shared, especially food. In the islands so far I have found no monsters, as some expected, but on the contrary, they are people of very handsome appearance. Look, now see, it's how you know, even just from the title. You know from how the title is edited and put America in there when the word America wasn't even in Columbus' time. Columbus said he was searching for the Indies, so we know this. We already know this has been edited. We see they put China in parentheses. We see all these edits. Look at this one. We know this is an edit. He said they are not black. Who asked them if they was black? Out of nowhere. I see, this is how you know this is edited. You know this is you know this has been remixed and hijacked. Out of nowhere, he said, I have found no monsters, or some expected, but on the contrary, they are people of very handsome appearance. They are not black. Who asked him was they black? Nobody. Because he didn't say that. He more than likely said they are black. Because if you describing some people somewhere, you're not going to say they are not something. If I go to China and I'm describing the people, I'm not going to say they not black. I'm going to say they yellow. I'm going to say they Asian, or whatever description I'm going to give. I'm not going to say what they are not. If I go to Castile to describe the people in Spain, if they white, I'm going to just say they are white. I'm not going to say they are not black. This has been edited, obviously. They are handsome in appearance. They are not black, as in Guinea, though their hair is straight and coarse. See, that doesn't even make sense. They are not black, but their hair is straight and coarse. Wait a minute. So this would be to say they are not black. They ain't black, but their hair nappy and coarse, right? That would make more sense than saying they are not black, though their hair is straight and coarse. It's more obviously that he would have said they are black, as in Guinea, though their hair is straight and coarse. Don't that make a lot more sense? They are black as in Guinea, though their hair is straight and coarse. Which we know is an obvious hijack. All we gotta do is look back at the truth about history during the times. No artist rendered these Indians during the time of Columbus having straight hair that's coarse and being not black. They are showing them black with coarse hairs. I'm more willing to bet that Columbus really wrote, because they claim that they can't even find this letter. They claiming that this they got this version from somebody back in the time who's supposed to translate it, but this ain't even the real letter. But look, he more than likely said where we was at. Hold on. Dang, how I strolled up. I strolled way down. Hold on, where I was at now. He more than likely said they are black as in Guinea, and their hair is coarse. I doubt he even said straight and coarse. He probably said they are black as in Guinea, and their hair is coarse. Because straight and coarse don't even go together. When have you heard straight and coarse being put together? When you always hear nappy and coarse, this has obviously been edited. They are not black as in Guinea, though their hair is straight and coarse. doesn't make sense at whatsoever. Especially when we look at the images from the times, the images from the maps, the images from the tobacco Indians. They are definitely black, and their hair is not straight and coarse. Their hair is definitely not straight and coarse. Hijacked. They said they probably saw what he really wrote, and they said, "No, you got to edit that. You got to clean that up before you release this." And in truth, the Sun has extreme, and I believe they had the letter. They probably had it, and they hiding it and just claiming it's lost because they don't want you to see the real letter where it say they are black with nappy hair. They don't want you to see that. They're gonna give you a remix and tell you, "Oh, we don't know where the letter at." If you don't know where the letter at, explain how you got this then. And in the truth, the Sun has extreme power here, since it is 26 degrees of the equinoctial line, the equator. In these islands, there are mountains where the cold this winter was very severe, but the people endure it from habit. And with the aid of the meat, they eat with very hot spices. See, eating meat with spices. You know damn well the Indians wasn't white. White people don't even put spices all up in their food like that. They don't. That be niggas putting too much spice in some shit. Niggas be having way too much spice sometimes. And niggas be spicing the shit out that shit. Spices everywhere. You niggas will spice the shit out of some shit. That's how I know they talking about you. They ain't talking about nobody but you niggas. As for monsters, I have found no trace of them except at the point in the second aisle as one enters the Indies. You mean America? No. You mean the East Indies? No. You mean the West Indies? No. You mean Hindustan? No. As one enters the Indies, which is inhabited by a people considered in all the isles as most ferocious, who eat human flesh. They possess many canoes with which they overrun all the isles of India. Look, in parentheses, now they put in the West Indies. Edit it. He didn't say the West Indies. He didn't say America. He said the Indies. Stealing and seizing all they can. They are not worse looking than the others, except they wear their hair long like women and use bows and arrows of the same cane with a sharp stick at the end for lack of iron, of which they have none. They are ferocious compared to these other races, who are extremely cowardly. But I only hear this from the others. They are said to make treaties of marriage with women in the first isle, to be met with coming from Spain to the Indies, where there are no men. These women have no feminine occupation, but use bows and arrows of cane like those before mentioned, and cover and arm themselves with plates of copper, of which they have a great quantity. Another island, I am told, is larger than Hispaniola. He said they cover themselves with copper, which he is told they have a great quantity, which reminds me. So they cover themselves with plates of copper, huh? Or was it gold? He said they cover themselves with plates of copper. He said these women have no feminine occupation but use bows and arrows of cane like those before mentioned, and cover and arm themselves. They cover and arm like a bulletproof. They say they armed. They say, you know, they ready. They say you ain't finna just shoot an arrow in his chest. They cover themselves with plates of copper. Oh, where's it go? Somebody goofy out here gonna say blackjack. That ain't no Indian blackjack. That's blackjack. That's an African. That's a booty scratcher. Some idiot gonna say that, right? Could somebody that's new maybe to the house, maybe a tell Somebody that don't know. They don't know about our culture. They claim we ain't got no culture, but we always got to educate them about our culture. Hold on. Let's remind them then. Let's remind them then. Salute. It's funny. They say Blackjack, that ain't no Indian. They'll say Blackjack, that's an African. That's not an Indian Blackjack. That's an African. If that ain't an Indian, why the hell did Ramon Pagari paint the damn same damn thing holding the damn tray right here in his 1902 painting of Columbus returning to Barcelona? If that ain't an Indian, if that's an African, how come Ramon Pagari painted the same thing in 1902? They say another island, I am told, is larger than Hispaniola, where the natives have no hair. And where there is countless gold, and from them all I bring Indians to testify to this. He say, look. He say another island, I am told, is larger than Hispaniola, where the natives have no hair, and where there is countless gold. He say, and from them all, from all the islands, I'm gonna bring some Indians to testify to this. He told the queen and the king, he said they got gold down there in Haiti, and right there, that nigga right there from Haiti. The nigga that they say ain't got no hair. He say someone bald headed. That's a nigga right here. Nigga number 2 down here. Nigga number 2. That nigga from Haiti, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's hilarious, man, because it's so funny because it's all lined up, man. It all lined up, man. It all these different sources lining up don't make no sense if it ain't true, man. Oh shit. Hey, he say to speak in conclusion only of what has been done during this hurt voyage. Their highness will see that I can give them as much gold as they desire if they will give me a little assistance, spices, cotton, as much as their highness may command to be shipped, and mastic as much as their highness chooses to send for which until now has only been found in Greece, in the island of Chios, and the Signoria can get its own price for it, as much lying low as they command to be shipped, and as many slaves as they choose. From where? From Africa? As many slaves as they choose. As many niggas as they choose from America, my naga. Columbus went back and told the crown as many slaves as he say I started the whole transatlantic slave trade. Right here. So I brought a couple of these niggas back. And there's plenty more where that came from.
You big dummy.
Sick your $5 ass down before I make got him!
And I ain't playing, nigga.
Columbus ain't mentioned Africa one time. He mentioned the Indies. And you wonder why Donald Trump say you niggas the only one got a birth right here? You ain't figured it out yet? As many slaves as they choose to send for, all heathens. I think I have found rhubarb and cinnamon, Many other things of value will be discovered by the men I left behind me, as I stayed nowhere when the wind allowed me to pursue my voyage, except in the city of Navidad, which I left fortified and safe. Indeed, I might have accomplished much more had the crew served me as they ought to have done. The eternal and almighty, our Lord, it is who gives to all who walk in his way victory over things apparently impossible. And in this case, signally so, because key point, although these lands had been imagined and talked of before they were seen, although these lands had been imagined and talked of before they were seen, although the Indies had been imagined and talked of before it was seen. Well, how could it be Hindustan then, when European merchants had been traveling to Hindustan before Columbus? It had been seen. Hindustan had been seen hundreds of years before Columbus. So how would Columbus be writing lands that are imagined and unseen in? He not talking about no fucking Hindustan. He talking about the so-called Americas. He talking about the Indies. He knew exactly where he was going. It don't take no rocket scientist to see that. It just takes somebody that got some common damn sense and that's honest with themselves. He said, although these lands had been imagined and talked of before they were seen. These lands were in imagination and talked about. The Indies were imagined and talked about and never seen. Most men listen incredulously to what was thought to be but an idle tale. But our Redeemer has given victory to our most illustrious king and queen. This mission wasn't no failure. This was victory. I found the Indies. And to their kingdoms rendered famous by this glorious event at which all Christendom should rejoice, celebrating at which festivities and solemn thanksgiving to Holy Trinity, because they found the promised land and they found the tribe, nigga. They found the Israelites, nigga. With fervent prayers for the high distinction that will accrue to them from turning so many people to our holy faith, and also from the temporal benefits that not only Spain but all Christian nations will attain from the promised land. Thus I record what has happened in a brief note written on board the caravel off the Canary Island on the 15th of February 1493. Look, since writing the above, being in the Sea of Castile, so much wind arose southeast that I was forced to lighten the vessels to run into the port of Lisbon today, which was the most extraordinary thing in the world, from whence I resolved to write to their highness in all the Indies. I always found the temperature like that of May. Where I went in 33 days, I returned in 28. Except that these gales have detained me 14 days, knocking about in this sea. Here all seamen say that there has never been so rough a winter, nor so many vessels lost, done the 14th day of March. Salute. A letter of Christopher Columbus on his first voyage to the Indies. Not this edited hijack talking about America. See, man, I don't wait for nobody to tell me the truth about something. I see for myself, man. You can't lie to me. You could try your best, but I'm gonna analyze everything you say. Columbus never said he was looking for nor found America. Columbus said never said he was headed to Hindustan. Columbus said he was headed to the Indies. Columbus never said he was going west to go east. He never said any of that. The liars did. Columbus said he was successful. What was the significance of Christopher Columbus' first letter? What was Christopher Columbus' letter in 1494? Announcing the success of his voyage to the Indian Seas. Salute. A letter written by Columbus is the first known document announcing the completion of his first voyage. Look. Original copy lost. So they say, right? It's not lost, they edited. The original handwritten letter by Christopher Columbus detailing his first voyage to America is lost.
You big dummy.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make you. Got him!
This shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
However, several hijacked copies of the letter translated into Latin from the original Spanish still exist. You know it's hijacked, it's edited. It ain't lost. They got it. They covering the fact that he told you about all these niggas over here and that he was successful in finding the Indies. They done remixed the letter and told you. Damn, what just happened? Oh, I pulled it off. They told you he was finding America. They done remix. It's funny. It's funny how they tell on themselves. A liar, boy. You pile up lies. Cause somebody gonna say, you know what? All right, man. I want to see this letter for myself. Well, unfortunately, the letter is lost. Yeah, that's how you know they on some bullshit. How you know the letter been edited and hijacked. Columbus, hold on, wait a minute. Columbus letter. You gotta understand, they gonna turn around to tell you the letter lost, but then we just read this long ass letter that's edited and hijacked and talking about America. Alberto Vespucci ain't even been over here by this time. Amerigo Vespucci ain't get here till they say in the 1500s. So how is this letter saying voyage to America? This is edited. This has been hijacked and put in what they want you to believe. Yeah, they're not black. They're not black. Man, let me see for myself. Let me see if Columbus really wrote they're not black. Let me see if he really wrote that. Well, the letter is lost. Yo, you can't see if he really wrote that because the letter lost all of a sudden. Yeah, the letter gone now. The original handwritten letter, we don't know where it's at. Man, you got a whole lot of... But not know where the original letter at. You got a whole lot of damn details. You sure you don't know where that damn letter at? Yeah, man. We got lost somehow. You mean tell me Columbus found America and y'all lost the letter? I was born at night, well not last night, goddammit. You motherfuckers. I wasn't born last night. Columbus ain't come way over here and find the Indies, then y'all lost the letter. I refuse to believe that. Y'all don't lose nothing. Y'all ain't lost that damn letter. Y'all don't want us to see that letter. Y'all want to put out what y'all want us to see. It's funny though, the contradictions for what the liars in history tell you, and then what you can simply read for yourself, man. You can simply read for yourself, man. I had to talk about that, man. I had to talk about that, man. He went west to go east. He was born to Hindustan. Lies. Let me get at y'all later, man. Blackjack, we out. Peace.